and Francis Rossi joins us. Good evening to you, Francis.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Album Chart. I'm really pleased to be interviewing you because I've never ever met you before, and I've been a Status Quo fan since I was in the 4th year at school. Well, and this is genuinely true.
Stop me. 6 years in.
Yeah, absolutely. Stop me if this gets too obsequious. My English teacher, called Mr. Batstone, at Solihull School, he lent me a copy of Pile Driver. I can't remember why he did. Maybe it was some kind of English homework thing. And I still think it's one of your best albums, and I've been a fan ever since then.
Fantastic, I never knew that.
And I bought all the stuff, and the Rollover Lay Down EP with sleeve notes by John Peel. And when you were going through all that interesting relationship with Radio 1, I used to take in that Rollover Lay Down EP and say, look, John Peel likes Status Quo. Here's the proof. He wrote the sleeve notes. Very funny sleeve notes they were too.
He was great. He was very good to us for a while, and he was one of the first people that said, after a while, he said he'd been very against us and whatever, and he said I was full of rubbish. He said I was saying it for the wrong reasons, which was nice. You know, we all do that. We've all done that kind of thing, thinking that, oops, we mustn't like this because of. Absolutely. And he came through, which I thought was lovely.
Now, and even though I've liked your stuff for a long time, even I was unaware of the following statistics, which are that you have had 55 hit records in this country, more than any other band. 22 of them have been in the top 10. And you've had more hit albums in the British album charts than any other band, apart from the Stones.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, keep going, because absolutely. Because
we keep long enough, they've got to keel over before we do. Sorry, Nick.
31 albums. Is this 31 or is this the 32nd?
Yeah,
You've got absolutely
no idea at all. No.
Well, it is being said, and I think it's right, that this is one of your best albums for a while.
It is. Yeah, there's a vibe on the album. It's something's happened to us within the last 2 years. A real positive vibe, and
what is that then?
Apart from me getting back to writing with Bob Young again, which is. Produced an extra blues angle. It did it to everybody else in the band. Kind of went, oh, and it sort of galvanised everyone into moving and writing, and that positive attitude that we used to have when we were younger. We were very kind of blinkered, and if someone didn't see the plot, like you say, John Peel at the time, we just focused and went forward. And I think in the last 10 years or so, maybe more, we've been kind of, don't know what to do, and asking somebody else what they think, you know, rather than Rick and I say, no, this is what we're doing, this is what we want to do, this is what we're going to do.
I wonder if the blues thing is actually, I wonder if that's the key, that a lot of people who bought your stuff in the 70s, no, you just think, there are tracks on here that remind me of Break the Rules and Don't Waste My Time.
Yeah, great
and you just think, oh, right, this is interesting. This is the Quo I remember.
Well, it's something to do with, as I said, as soon as I started writing with Bob again, it was, I see. And I'd kind of fought against it, and the relationship fell apart because somebody wanted, I think, to rip the band off in the end, and the only way to do that was to move Bob away from myself and Rick, because Bob oversaw everything, and Bob had been with us so long. And so to start this kind of, he said this about you routine, and he said this about you, and it went completely pear-shaped. And it wasn't until I was talking to him again and said, look, you were right, something he'd supposedly said. And I said, you were right about that, Bob. And he said, I didn't say that. And then I fell in. Well, obviously that's what had to happen, to move Bob away from Rick and I to make it work. And as soon as Bob came back and the writing came together, it's a joy again. So
it is classic Status Quo, the way people will want to hear Status Quo.
I very much think so, yeah. It's being received really well so far.
And it's sort of compulsory gig attendance, isn't it, really, just to hear these songs being performed live?
I reckon. Plus, it's the first time I think we did 2 of the tracks, All Stand Up and Solid Gold. We actually did last year on the tour and have been doing them ever since. I haven't done that, I don't think, since probably Pile Driver. And we will have 2 or 3 more new ones.
Pile Driver as lent to me by Mr. Batstone.
Mr. Batstone.
With Paper Plane and Softer Ride.
Yeah, Softer Ride. We still do that. Recently we're doing Softer Ride. I like that.
What a great song that is.
I think.
I'm getting excited about coming on the tour.
Yeah, I am. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think one of the things that people want when they get a Status Quo album is to look at you've got 14 tracks on here, and I'm just speaking personally, there are no covers.
No, isn't that a joy?
But you did go through a phase of doing covers, and I was never a particular fan of those.
No, I see that. I mean, when we were younger, when I was younger, I always figured I would never prostitute myself and I'd never allow this to happen. We figure we have such principles and stuff, but in the end, if you're going to try and push me out, then the bulldog thing sticks in. You go, don't do that, I'm not going to have that, I'm not going to have that. And if it means we had to make a covers album for us to be allowed to make a real album, as we call it, then so be it. I don't necessarily enjoy doing those. I didn't really like the last one we did. I thought it was a pile of doo-doos. But again, enthusiasm from us was very, you know. Whereas on this album, something has happened. Whether it's Matthew, the new drummer, has given us a tightness, and he holds the tempos back. I mean, we're terrible for, if we think it's not going well, play it faster. If you play this stuff faster, it gets lighter and it doesn't have the sound about it. And everybody's very confident, very plussed at the moment. And It's like when we were 18 again. The single going in the chart, we were like children. Fantastic.
That
news.
Pictures of Matchstick Man.
Yeah, but when Jam Side Down went in the chart, it was just yes. And most people think you're going to be very blasé, but no, it's like, yes, we did it again. Fantastic news.
Right, well, we're going to play a track, Solid Gold. I think this is one of the best tracks on that. It reminds me of Break the Rules, you see. But it reminds
me
of...
of a Roll Over Lay Down.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's...
I like it.
It's just a rhythm, is it?
If I'm not worrying, I'm not looking back again. We've been, I suppose, in the last few years, been looking back all the time, thinking, well, this, we don't look back anymore. This is what we're doing now, and we're going to try and move forward. And we're always trying to move, believe it or not, move forward and get better. And I think we're doing it with this album.
Right, well, Francis, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
We're going to play Solid Gold from the new album. Here's Status Quo.